close them back later on. Okay. Open up your webcam for a while there, right? So I can see your face this morning over here. But I just have my breakfast there, right? How about you guys there? How about you guys there? Have you guys taken your breakfast? All right, open up your webcam for a while there, guys, okay? For a few minutes there. And then we actually can close them back. So I'm recording the sessions over here there, right? Okay, just to let you know there, okay? All right, open up, guys, okay, for a while there, okay? I want to see your kind of what we call that appearance for today there, basically, right? So how is it basically right now? The assignments there? How many assignments that you guys have? Oh, you saw here. Okay. I think I will take those attendance, right? Or you saw. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, guys, Dave, for having for attending basically those kind of classrooms over here, right? Okay. Any one of you guys basically haven't submit your your first and second projects? Anyone? Anyone who haven't submitted? Before I'm going to double check back again. First and second project, right? Okay, one of the most important thing that I want to remind you guys back again. All right, please don't delay any of your first project, second projects, and even though basically your weekly exercise there, right, that we did before there, right? Okay, even though you don't have those kind of tablets, right? Okay, you work with those traditional methods there. If you want to apply that back again, just to add more kind of submissions on your works, right? Okay. But by the end of those week 13, you guys can still submit them, okay? Because all those kind of efforts, I want to make sure that I can basically give you guys more extra marks within your efforts, okay? From your efforts from there, okay? Those are the one of the most important thing there, okay? But you have to remember also, okay? Add those kind of submissions. If you want to add more kind of works, okay, it doesn't mean that you're going to increase your mark if you don't add value on your presentations, okay, especially on your drawings there. Okay, please make sure that, okay, and if you can actually write update with me directly on my what we call that WhatsApp, okay. WhatsApp is more better, okay, so I can actually keep track and write down basically your names over here there, okay, which is I'm going to keep track basically some of the students who are really active and also who really basically have commitments to show basically his work there. Because all right, thank you guys. Okay, you guys can actually close your webcam, okay, back again. Okay, so if we take a look there, okay, some of the students basically have been update with me, okay, his progressions. At the same time, they basically have been basically go through with my cannot recall the earlier cannot recall the developments there like this, right? So that means I can actually double check back again, and I have basically more time basically to give some sort of like a command basically directly to you guys there, okay? That's basically one of the most important thing there, okay? Remember, okay, you guys have around 100 over kind of students there. People, what we call that below me there, okay? So I have one person. I only have one person there, okay, to what we call that, to entertain also to gather basically all those informations on those 100 kind of students there, okay. So I will go through basically by the end of the week 13 there, okay, the whole thing is back again. But if you don't want to miss out some of the earliest kind of developments and also improvement there, okay, please make sure that you guys will update with me direct in my WhatsApp, okay? Simple as that. Because the point is right now, if, all right, by the end of week 13 and week 14, when I do those kind of evaluations, if I find some of the students, okay, they submit wrongly, they submit not quite very kind of presentables there, okay? The words that I can use, okay, sometimes they do all these submissions quite chinchai there, okay, but their thought is right. Okay, do you know what this chinchai is, right? Chinchai is not only my channels, okay, the chinchai cartoon, okay, but they kind of like doesn't actually meet the requirement that we want. The simple requirement that actually requests, okay, but really take serious on the works there, okay, it's especially on the drawing line and strokes, all right? How you perform basically by controlling the stroke at the same times, apply the quality of line, all right? And you apply all this principle of design inside your works, okay? The balance, the harmonize there, right, okay? The contrast, okay? The right kind of proportion itself, the okay? For example, right here, okay? I know basically this guy, Mankit, can really draw the okay well, but by looking at his line works there. But the point is right now, the proportion itself, okay? Some of the proportion look okay there, okay? But take a look at this one there, right? The shark and also the body of this Abraham Lincoln there, okay? It doesn't fit there, guys. It really doesn't fit there. And of course, okay, logically, okay, even though we draw fantasy kind of illustrations there, okay? Fantasy kind of illustrations there, okay? There's a sum of the what we call that reason and methods, okay? We need to know, okay, the person that we want to draw, basically, or the character that we want to draw, okay, basically either basically they're going to be a part of those social kind of what we call that commentations, all right, or propaganda, okay, that we're going to use on our works, okay, or it's a part of those character kind of development for some of those stories or whatever that we want to do basically for the platform itself, okay? So if these fish basically are going to live among us, how basically they want to breathe there, right, okay? So all these kind of logic kind of things need to apply at the same time, okay? And also the body proportion itself. Obviously, visually, all right, the body proportion between head and also the head and also the body, okay, the necks, it doesn't fit there, okay? There's a lot of people actually have designed these characters, okay, using the shark kind of elements, okay, from there. So you guys can actually take a look basically back again, all right? For example, shark man characters, okay? 4 examples then. You guys can see basically, okay, this is the examples there that you guys can get some ideas there. It doesn't mean that you trace them back. But if you take a look there, okay, how actually they design them, and you guys can apply back again according to your kind of understanding there. All right? Don't just trace from this reference there. You guys can actually combine some sort of like bodybuilders directly, for example, kind of reference, like this one, for example, there. And you can combine with some of the shark there, okay? Kind of what we call that elements there. Combine them together there, okay? And when you combine and manipulate them, don't just use cut and paste kind of methods there. Okay? If you actually watch basically back again my demonstrations on Monday from group 5 and group 1 there, right? I'm using the same kind of analogy and styles and techniques and methods at the same time there, okay, to work with it. Okay, I'm not just combine them all together there, but basically what I do, okay, I find more than one reference, and then when I want to analyze them, more than 5 references there, right? So I start to combine basically, right? And also one other thing that I did basically, right? I'm using liquify techniques to exaggerate a little bit on the form, all right? of this reference over here to make it more like inhuman kind of looks there, okay? The shoulders a bit more bigger there, okay, but not too big there, right? So I don't want to make this reference look alike, my drawings look alike as a reference, even though I draw them back according to those reference, but I'm going to readjust them, okay? Because what I basically want you guys to experience right now, one of the way that I always think in my head how actually I'm going to manipulate using a raw images there. Sometimes I'm going to design and draw without any reference there, okay? But before you guys are going to experience them in the future there, okay, I want you guys to experience the basics methods, how, for example, people can think, okay? Designers, artists, illustrators can think inside their head, but by using reference, okay, by using reference that I basically going to show you guys, okay, this is basically the step, basically how people think there, okay, how they actually develop those kind of ideas, that they get some inspiration from other people's kind of works, other people's kind of design, then they will evolve, improvise, modify, manipulate inside their mind and draw them back using those basic structures and sketch it out first before you go to add those kind of details there, okay? Because I'm using technologies to show you guys how designers and illustrators think. All right, concept illustrators, character designer think there, okay, inside their mind, but I'm showing you guys by using Photoshop, by using these technologies that works. If I didn't actually show you guys, I just draw straight ahead without any reference, okay, you might not going to have this kind of understanding, hey, how actually I think all this kind of stuff there before. All right, hopefully you guys understand that, right? One of the reasons, one of the most important reasons why I'm actually, right, using this reference there and using this technique to show you guys there, okay? It's not basically just cut and paste there, okay? We improvise and use the tools, right? The tools that will help us to imagine more better there, right? This is basically one of the reasons why I actually show you guys these techniques that no one actually shared to me or explained to me before, okay, when I was like learning also like you guys, okay, we don't have this kind of technologies there, okay? I've always felt like I'm basically in my time, basically I really work hard basically to imagine things, do some reference there, okay? We don't have this kind of technologies with this before though, okay? We don't have this Photoshop that can be used, Liquify that can work on that, okay? So I'm using basically back again all this experience that I have. When I want to design some things to make it more easy for those who really cannot imagine really well, can actually apply the same methods there. Not just cut and paste there, guys, okay? If you truly comparing to the reference that I actually have and the what we call that, those results that I produce right now, I actually have done a few number kind of process, that multiple kind of process to readjust them back. Even though a small modifications there, now I'm using basically those Liquify back again, see? All right, Liquify there, right? So I'm using basically the first tools over here, and I'm going to exaggerate them, right? Okay? Those kind of top kind of what we call the head there, okay? I'm going to readjust the faces a bit there, okay? To extend a little bit, to make it a bit kind of difference. They're not too much there, okay? If you're afraid to make those kind of exaggerations, modification too much, okay? You're afraid you're going to end up make the whole presentation going to be spoiled and ruined, okay? You can basically start with a very small modifications there first. All this step process of creative process that I show right now, okay? I introduce you guys right now, demonstrate another, right? Is one of the basic fundamentals there. How actually you're going to use technologies to recreate basically your design there, right? Okay. If you don't have that kind of ability to imagine, right? Okay, a little bit more, what we call that, more creatively by using your raw kind of, what we call that, imaginations or creativity inside your mind there right now. Okay, because lack of experience sometimes or skill. Okay, So hopefully you guys get the ideas right now, okay? What I meant basically by working with this kind of project 3D, right? I want you guys to experience basically those kind of way to develop and enhance a bit more on your creativities, not just by using a cut and paste kind of methods there. Okay. For those who haven't used Liquify for your image manipulation, okay, this is basically one of the good chances for you guys to try first. When I actually designed these subject matters, these characters there, right? I did not basically draw the whole things there. I didn't actually trace the whole thing there, right? I skipped some of those detailings because I know basically it's not going to be a very kind of like efficient, okay, and practical for me to draw the whole thing there. I want to design back again on my own kind of ways there, okay? Those are the first thing, okay? I'm not going to trace the whole thing directly, but I'm going to redesign them back, okay? That's basically one of the most important thing that I want to show you guys over here. I always going to apply, okay, those kind of foundations, kind of methods to works on my design. At the same time, I'm still referring some of the important elements that I'm going to make sure that my kind of designs, my kind of drawings are going to be look balanced, and they show basically those aesthetical kind of value there, okay? Every time when I draw them, when I can design them, okay? Remember that, guys, okay? We're not just simply trace them, but we try to basically, right, improvise and make it those designs look more better on our presentations there. That's the first important things that you always have to keep in your mind there. We want to make those designs look more better than the original one. Okay, the original one, okay, you guys can see, okay, it's a woman there, okay, a human. Now I transfer into those creatures there, okay, from eagles or hawk, okay, to become a warriors of a female kind of warriors there. And the other thing that I actually try to apply over here, okay, when I design these characters, it doesn't look like this characters is wearing a mask there, okay, or a headgear of those eagles there. They become blended up together there, okay. They blend up together there, okay. They becoming one characters, one creatures there. It doesn't actually look like I just cut and paste them, right? So those are also all the value that you need to basically apply on your design there, right? Okay. So to develop those creativities, right, okay, you have to think outside of your boxes, right? But by using reference, you can actually, right, get to develop and get help and also improve more on your understanding while you redesign them. That's basically one of the most important things. Creativity is not all about everything that I actually give you guys. You have to follow, okay, exactly, and then you did not actually understand how it works directly. You need to develop your kind of understanding while you watch them, and then you improvise them according to your understanding over here, and practice all over again there, okay, and improvise those kind of methods along the way. It cannot actually get like this one in a split second there, okay. There has to be continuous to develop those kind of understanding by practicing those kind of design and drawings all the times. You need to understand that, okay. Creativities can be developed, can be practiced to work, okay, in the right kind of way there, okay, in the proper kind of way there, okay. This is one of the methods that I can show you guys directly how it works there, okay. But the thing is right now, take a look how actually I construct those drawing line works. That's the first thing that you have to understand at first, and how actually I'm going to improvise. I didn't draw all these kind of details there, guys. I'm using all the element of principles there, line, shapes, texturing there, okay, to formations, these subject matters there, to form this character design there, right? Okay. So all these kind of things, all this kind of practice, okay, are really important for you guys to develop your kind of strengths as a designer there. But you have to practice along the way. Okay? I know basically 5 drawings is not enough. But I give you guys those numbers because I want you guys to have the minimum kind of process that you guys can do it on your own according to our requirement on the submissions there. But trust me one thing there, guys, I can improvise the same subject matters, the same design, and extend those kind of ideas only by using one design, okay? But I can extend them back. I didn't have to choose 5 different animals, 5 different human beings there to create those kind of subject matters or design those characters, right? Okay. So because I know basically, okay, one design doesn't mean anything there. Whatever that you saw right now, I have designed another versions of these characters there for group 1. I haven't actually uploaded them, right? Okay, but I have the samples there and that I actually have been shared to you guys also in our Google Classrooms. Okay. So remember the guys, to develop the ideas itself, right? Okay, one idea itself, okay? So now I actually start to draw basically those sword there, okay? She's basically the original, she's actually, right, holding the lightsabers there, okay? From Sith, kind of what we call that clan there, okay? On Star Wars, okay? I don't know which one, which Star Wars kind of version is this, okay? So, but this is what creativity is all about, okay? I redesign back again those swords into my own kind of what we call that perspective and perceptions that actually works. Okay, now the left hand, okay? I want to redesign the left hand because the left hand doesn't show any kind of actions there, okay, or poses there. So what I did basically, I take from other people kind of what we call that reference, okay? Then I'm going to paste and adjust and try to what we call that flip, okay, according to the right kind of positions. Then I'm going to redraw them back according to the right kind of size and perspective and proportions there. So creativity is there, guys. I'm teaching you guys how to become creative right now. If you guys, okay, or some people say, okay, creativities cannot be taught, okay? It's basically, it's a part of those natures of person. Everyone can be creative, guys. Everyone can be creative, okay? You need to find the right kind of way that it works. I know basic creativity is very subjective, kind of what we call that, words there, okay? That sometimes, okay, I cannot be creative in my own business, and I need help, okay? I need help, need kind of what we call that, more kind of input from other people who experience than me, okay? To be creative on my kind of financial, for example, or to market my kind of product, for example, okay? I have this kind of hard time there, okay? Basically, at the moment there, okay, I can tell you guys the truth about my kind of experience right now. But in order to make the visual a bit more creative, yes, I have a certain kind of solutions that I can use there, okay? But in order to market back again, to enhance, to extend, to expand basically my own kind of business, okay, I need more help from other people who experience than me, right? So that's why, okay, I can teach you guys basically, okay, those kind of visually, how actually you can develop the visual creatively, okay? But certain kind of things, I also need help from other people there. That's why I say we are not perfect, guys, okay? But this part, basically, you do not think about those business kind of things there yet. What you need to apply, okay, right now is how to apply, basically, creatively, your visual developments. Can you see that, right? How actually I manipulate them back, and I even draw the sphere there, okay, into different kind of elements there by using those kind of basic principle of shapes there. Okay, so how actually I design all this kind of stuff, okay, from the reference, and I can imagine them back there, okay? My kind of answers is simple there. I do play games, I do watch movie a lot there, okay? I love basically animations and cartoons. I love basically toys. I love all this kind of entertainment kind of stuff there, right? So all those kind of experience by enjoying basically my own charms previously until today there, okay? All these kind of entertainment kind of things make me grow myself, and also I practice a lot, okay, to design it, okay? And also watch a lot of people who actually can do better than me, then I can improve that I will improve back again my skill at the same time, right? That's basically my tips. What you guys have right now, I actually show you guys direct to you, okay, how actually it works there. Okay. So this is the thing there, guys. It doesn't mean that you have to draw the whole thing, become warriors lah, because like Mankit actually have been working on, right? He basically used a very vintage kind of old pictures to make it the characters there, okay? Yes, it can be there, right? But the thing is, right now, you have to make sure the proportions, the anatomies, when you actually apply them back, are going to be fit in your presentations there, in your design there, right? But for me, there, right, okay, this is basically my professional opinions there, right, okay? If you think that you just want to cut and paste those pictures with your subject matters, right? Basically, those are easiest paths there, right? In order to challenge your kind of ideas and creativities there. So for me, as a young generations like you guys, you need to challenge more on your creativities at the same time there, right? Okay? Because if you're challenging yourself to become better there, right? And you don't have that kind of what we call that, you don't have to spend a lot of money there, okay? Because whatever that you have, the tools is in front of you right now. Unless the challenge kind of experience that you want to face there, okay? It involve more money to expand there, okay? As a business, it's different there, guys. Okay, to become creative visually, whatever that you have right now, your tools there, okay, the tablets there, the computers there, the Photoshop, the internet connections there, okay, is more than enough for you to become creative visually. Okay, you don't need another different kind of applications that to become creative right now. Photoshop, tablet pen, the right kind of projects that you have, the right Googles. This is the only things, okay? The only kind of what we call that tools that you need to develop your creativity there. The rest of it is all about your mindset all the times. Okay, how you develop your mindset, okay, to change, to make those changes that inside your mind there. Right? Unless involve money, right? You have to spend more few thousand ringgit, right? Okay, that's a different things. Right? If I want to expand basically my own business, right? Okay, more there, right? Okay, nowadays I need more money there. Simple as that. Right, guys? That's basically my challenge here, right? Okay, I have to think about how to get more money there, okay? More kind of what we call that investors there, okay? To invest on my money, okay? People who actually we can trust basically to own money, right? to earn money, okay? Without going to any loan, right? Without go to any kind of loan shark there, okay? Or bank there, okay, to work on that, okay? So those are the things there, okay? So depending there, okay? And how actually you're going to expand there, okay? In terms of business things there, okay? I'm still learning on that. But for visual kind of interpretations here, this is basically one of the methods that I find quite very practical for beginners to learn how to develop those creativities there. Okay? But the most challenging, what we call that methods there, okay, is all about your drawings, line and strokes. Because I saw most of you guys still need more improvement on that. That's what I say, okay? Improve your drawings from day one until project 2 there, okay? Because project 3, okay, if you don't improve your drawing skills, if you don't improve your kind of line works, okay, it will be hard a little bit for you to engage with your kind of ideas at the same time there, okay? Even though there's a lot of things that you guys can learn from time to time, okay? It doesn't mean that when we complete the lessons for these semesters, you will become professional, right? You can become professional when people will hire you there, right? Simple as that. You have the very good consistency on the works that people will pay for your works, right? Then you can become a bit more professional there. But most of the professional normally, right, they did not basically brag themselves, right? Even I'm also the right, I'm still learning a lot, right? I still try to progressive my kind of styles, design, works all the time there, according to those practical kind of needs there, okay? And how much basically people will pay for our service at the same time, and how actually I'm going to expand basically my kind of ideas there without any kind of investors, but I can actually run over with some of the commercials that I'm going to promote, okay, in the future there, right? Or brand there itself there. Simple as that, guys. Okay, but it doesn't make any simple kind of thing, right? It's not quite simple, okay, especially right when you actually experience all the process itself. Okay, they're going to be hard there, okay, because our mind, okay, our mind need time basically to digest all this information there. But no one actually teach me how to develop those creativities when I was like your age. Now basically I start to develop basically those kind of background there, okay? See, I'm using basically these positions here, the what we call that portrait kind of formats, right? Why? Because the characters itself stand in the portrait kind of positions there, okay? So I'm using basically A4 size 250 dpi basically in the portrait formats, and I will choose some of the background, some of the props that basically are going to be a part of those what we call that compositions there. Now I'm going to crop basically these what we call that, these branches there, right? But I did not basically crop the whole thing. I'm going to crop only the major elements only, paste in front, paste below them, right? Okay, adjust the size a little bit, and I start to draw them there. Okay, reduce the opacities, or you can make it into grayscales there, okay, first, and then you can actually write using gradient map there, okay, and then you can add new layers and redraw them, right? So when I actually draw basically the branches, I'm also use a certain kind of what we call that sketch line methods and techniques that I didn't actually trace the whole things there. But when I draw those branches, I try to apply those line works, strokes, okay, and design some of the textures line, but not according to those references. I not actually trace them the whole thing there, guys. See? Can you see the right? How actually I construct those kind of line over here? I'm using those kind of branches as a guideline for me to draw them, and the line works that I produce right now, it been harmonized and have the continuities, okay, the connection between the characters itself, that it doesn't jump over there, okay, the line work itself there. And I draw some suggestions line to create some textures on those branches there, okay. You don't have to draw the whole thing there, guys. See? Okay, in illustration itself, to develop your illustration style, okay, it doesn't have to be traced or draw the whole thing look perfectly as the actual kind of reference there. Remember that, okay? I didn't teach you guys to trace them all the time there. We're using as a guideline for us to increase more understanding how to develop basically those design for our illustrations. You see that, right? So learn from watching the okay, at the same time, okay, how actually I conduct basically some of the certain kind of element of design to create those kind of branches textures there, using those circle line shapes a little bit, right, to work them, and it look harmonized, right? You guys can see, okay, this quality of drawings look like a little bit more like comic styles kind of drawings there, okay? And I didn't spend too much time basically to gathered all these informations before I'm going to draw back again, before I'm going to paint them back. All right, the key kind of what we call that elements that you need to understand about this kind of project, right? It's all about to develop the right kind of skills there first, right? Okay? To visualize your ideas. Okay, for those who actually thought, okay, for those who actually have thought, right, I want to learn shadings only there, okay? I don't want to learn to draw, okay? You make a wrong decisions in the early stage there, okay? Because without a very strong foundations of drawings, your shading is nothing there, guys. Because when you want to design your own kind of characters in the future there, okay, especially on your animation projects there, okay, we need to start to draw our characters there first. We're not shading those characters there, okay? Shadings is a part of those process to enhance your kind of visualization on your ideas there. Okay, you want to start to design some sort of like color scheme itself there, okay? And also to form basically the right kind of tone of those characteristics itself, okay? It's beyond basically what you know right now there. That's why develop a very strong foundations first before you're going to add some shadings there. All right, this is some of the methods that I use. I apply 3 different elements on my compositions there. I applied 3 different elements, okay? Sky, backgrounds there, scenarios of those backgrounds, their locations there, okay? Of the mountains, and also the branch for the foreground there, right? Okay, foreground, okay, in front of those objects there, okay? So I'm using 3 different elements there to compose in one compositions of my what we call that backgrounds there, okay, or sceneries itself. See, I'm using image manipulation techniques that you guys have learned, but I'm going to modify the modification, use those modifications at the same time, guys. Okay, so generally I did basically have show you guys basically how the things works, but you need to choose the best one for you. That's why we do this kind of R&D, kind of what we call that process, okay, on the works itself. All right, now, if you guys can see here, okay, based on the same subject matters there, right? Based on the same design, you guys actually take a look here. I made some of the major kind of improvements on my design there. Okay, especially the characters itself. Okay, still a women characters there, a female creatures characters there, right? But can you see how actually I redesigned basically the beak, okay, the head itself, okay? I apply different kind of elements of those shoulder kind of pad, the weapon itself here. See the weapons that I draw there, right? The shields, the way that she hold basically those shields over here, right? Okay, the weapons, the axe, combine that together there, right? Even though those design of those costumes, I made a more simplifications and modification on those kind of design there, okay? And of course, okay, another process that we need to understand is how to replace the shadows, light and shadows there. Okay, from these positions over here, if we take a look right now from these positions, right, the light came from this side there. So the shadow fall off basically to this side. This one, the light came from this side. Okay, so the shadow fall off at the back there, right? But there is some reflection shadows there, okay? How actually I get all this kind of stuff there? I did show you guys before, all right, on my demonstrations, okay? And you guys can actually take a look back again, all those kind of methods there. And of course, do refer a lot there, okay, on those reference there, okay? When you watch something, okay, when you watch your kind of influence, your kind of what we call that samples there, okay? or when you watch cartoon, for example, anime, okay, I'm using the same methods there to apply those kind of what we call the shadows there. If you watch comics, anime, okay, you can see all this kind of separation between shadows and light, shades and shadows there, okay? Light and shadows, obviously from those character design. I'm using the same methods, I'm improvising that. Okay? All right, any questions there? Any questions?
No.
Any queries? Come on.
No.
No? Are you guys sure? All right, anyone want to share screen over here?
Sir,
Yes.
can I share my screen?
Yes, thank you very much, my way, Derek. Please do so, Derek. Okay, please check with the guys, right? These demonstrations.
For this time, I have made this 3D animation as my reference. Then I got combined these 3 pictures and I make this sketch.
Okay. Can I take a look back again those reference there?
This one.
All right. What you can do right now, Mayweather, okay? Try to design a few number kind of composition based on the same characters there. Okay? Based on the same characters that you have right now, okay? Based on the same design there, okay? But can you actually modify a little bit more, okay? Try to find different kind of locations, try to find different kind of poses, try to find different kind of character features there, okay? That can help you to design more better on your works there, okay? Okay, it can be there, okay?
Okay.
So far so good there, okay? But I need to see more, okay? Minimum is 5 different drawings based on the same, maybe the same composition, maybe different kind of poses that you can apply there, right? Okay.
The another one I haven't draw.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And I want to ask is for the background we need to find 2 or we can find more than 2 because
find more but better there, okay? Find more better, right?
Okay, thank you.
The one that I show you right now, okay? Basically, okay, if I were you, okay, if I were you guys, okay, because I actually put a minimum kind of background because I want to make sure that you guys can choose the best one, okay? But if you think that you want to find more backgrounds, okay, to develop basically your kind of more kind of choice of understanding there, okay, before you decide which one is better, it's a bit more, it'll be more practical, okay? Don't just, because my kind of what we call that, the brief that I actually give you guys is a part of those guidelines, okay, that you guys have made there. But if you want to expand more, that's what I say, creativities cannot, there is no limitation in creativities. All right? I only provide you guys a guideline, okay? It doesn't mean that guideline you guys use, you only provide only that minimum kind of guideline requirement only, okay? You have to give more in order to expand your creativities. Don't get confused there, guys, okay? Because remember one thing, okay, if you say, okay, because Mr. Fazal said only 2 there, okay? So we will give 2 lah only, all right? Yes, of course. What if I give you guys, okay, I want 20 backgrounds, 20 sketches and reference of those characters there. They're going to be 40, what we call the process of works. Are you guys want to follow them? Because I will make compulsory, everyone has to meet 20 backgrounds, 20 different kind of design for the characters there. Can you guys meet that kind of requirement there? Huh? You wanna? If I actually make some what we call the requirement like that. So you have to think creatively there, guys, okay? I give you guys some guideline that works minimum. It doesn't mean that you just follow minimum. If you think that your design is lousy there, right? Simple as that. if you can develop something more better than my kind of presentations, you can actually use those minimum kind of what we call the requirement that you can meet those minimum requirement there. But what if you actually have a very weakness in your design works and you need to practice more? You have to develop more from there. You have to know yourself there. You have to know basically your kind of understanding, your kind of abilities, your kind of weakness that can be improved on your own there, right? Okay. If I actually give you guys 20 drawings each week for character design and 20 background that you have to find there, okay? Do you really want to meet that kind of guideline? Answer me yes or no there, right? On those chat box there. Y or N there, right? Right now, guys. Why? Huh? Only 2% no, okay? So everyone yes, right? Huh? Why no? Huh, Sandra? Why? Nathaniel? Too much there. Are you sure? Are you sure, guys? It's too much there, right? I can do 20 drawings there. I can do 20 backgrounds, okay, in a week. Right? If I have to. You don't want, huh? That's what I say, guys. Well, I give you guys minimum because it's a guideline there, right? I know basically you just only want to start the engine only, right? Okay? A beginning, the foundations there, guys, okay? Still basically fresh, all right? Still basically need to learn more, right? So last time basically I did I think almost 9 years there, okay? That I've been teaching with this subject, right? Okay? I give students a lot of work from there. Okay, some of them can succeed, and some of them basically can improve. But lately, when it comes to online sessions, okay, I think because of one of the reason because we cannot meet each other, okay. So I have to be more very what we call that give and take, basically the students. But the requirement of those kind of specifications need to meet first. My kind of requirements only simple there, guys, okay? Drawings, line, and strokes has to be improved there. That's the first thing that you have to understand at first. No matter how great, basically, your imaginations that you have in your mind, if you cannot meet the right kind of requirement there, the most important thing is about your drawing skills there. All that kind of what we call that, things that you guys have in mind, there's no point there. Okay? Remember that. So that's why, okay, I try to be give and take a little bit. So we do some minimal kind of what we call that kind of submissions, but we focus on the quality this time. Okay, I want to focus more on quality developments there. Hopefully, there, okay, each one of you guys can have more time to develop and pay more attentions on your drawing skills there. Okay. Because if you take a look right now, I'm using a very simple shadings over here to understand about the form and structures there of the whole thing. It's not complete yet there, guys. Okay? But from here, I can actually expand more directly. Let's just say I want to make this characters has those wings there, okay? So what I can do, basically, right, guys, I've taken a lot of sample of what we call that. You guys can see my screen here, okay? I take a lot of reference of those eagle kind of wings there before I'm going to decide which one basically I'm going to use for these compositions there. All right. So even though the wolf characters there, right, okay, the eagles kind of head there, okay, I collect a lot of reference there before I'm going to decide the guys, okay? Not only 5 or 2 or 3 different kind of reference there. More than 5 reference before I'm going to decide, okay? Because research basically is really interesting, very interesting, guys, okay? So I'm going to use this subject matters over here, but not the header, okay? Copy this one, close. Take a look how actually I'm going to, even though I get the first reference, right? One of the reasons I take this reference because the positions of the eagle the same as the position of my main characters there. So I'm going to basically, okay, check a look right here. I'm going to flip horizontal like this, see? Now, I'm going to rotate because the position right there. Hopefully, it will meet basically our requirement there. It doesn't, okay. I'm not saying it's going to be fit there, right? But we can try that first. The wings has to be big, a bit more bigger lah, right? So this is basically the head. So I have to readjust them back there, okay? Either I'm going to readjust them, or one of the things I can use, okay, first of all, I'm going to make integrated map there first, okay? So to see there, okay? This part, basically, I can delete there, right, okay? I don't want to make those distractions there. Okay. And this one a bit kind of tricky there, guys, okay? So what I can do there, right? So maybe I'm going to cut this one there first, okay? What I can do over here, rotate a little bit. Okay, rotate a little bit there. And actually move around these characters over here first. So you have to work carefully with your design over here. Okay, put it right here. Okay, save your files. If I'm going to duplicate this one, I'm going to flip horizontals there, see? All right. But this one, I have to exaggerate a bit there, okay, to make it more kind of position. The position is going to be a bit right there, right? I will try that first. If it doesn't work, it's okay there, okay? So we can actually apply. That's why I say, okay, when you actually try to design and redevelop basically a certain kind of element for your characters there, take a look carefully to the perspective, to the positions there all the time there, okay, to work on that, whether it's right or not there, okay? Okay, wait up there, guys, okay? All right. Let me resume the racket back again. You guys can see my screen sharing, right? Okay, now. So that's what, okay, take a look here, okay, just now who actually, okay. When I actually work with my characters over here, I always go back into my drawing board there, okay, before I'm going to design, even though I actually have been designed my kind of what we call that compositions over here, all right? These character compositions there, okay, the backgrounds, okay, the sky, everything there, right? But I always go into my drawing board back again, right here, to see whether I'm going to have basically the right kind of drawings that can actually work from these illustrations there, right? What I can do right now, okay, I'm going to sketch out basically all right, the wings, right, for this design, right? Even though we can actually redesign them if in the future, that way. But this is only my kind of what we call that first kind of suggestions there to make sure it's going to be fit there first. That's why I say the process of working on this design, there has to be continuing, okay, to develop before you're going to finalize them in your second or your third weeks, okay, when you start to finalize them there, right? Okay, so sketch it out first, roughly there, right? But I'm still using the guideline, okay? Because once basically we decide to use these wings there, right? Okay, then I can actually draw it back again properly there. But first thing, when we want to produce, make sure we can actually get the right kind of proportions there first. Because no matter what you're going to do, decide in the future, so over here, close this one there first. Okay, see whether it's going to be fit or not there, right? Okay. One of the things that I can do basically from here, if I don't want to redraw that, right? Because I'm using the same subject matters there, right? I can duplicate them, okay? But if I can actually extend them, right? Transform perspective there. See? See? Adjust a little bit. There. Okay. To make it a bit kind of what we call that extender, you see? There. If I find quite fit, okay. If not, basically I'm going to always go through these experimentations there. Maybe I can use this kind of side profiles like this one. Okay, this kind of what we call that 3/4 point of view, okay, to readjust that again, those kind of what we call that. So this is the thing that, guys, okay, to works, okay, that can be works at the same time there. But these areas there, right, see, we need to improve a little bit. So don't just extend them or use them back without basically improvise those shapes there, right? Because otherwise they're going to be look weird a bit. This part basically I can actually just redesign. Doesn't right, otherwise they're going to be not look quite logic there, right? Okay. See? So this kind of expansions there, okay, on those kind of designs will give a bit more kind of improvement on your. What else that we can do from here? Creatively there, okay, I can design basically the tail. Right, the tail itself, right? Okay, I think you guys play games more than me, okay? You can actually imagine more better there. Okay. I'm just an old folks basically who lived basically in the 70s and 80s, but doesn't have more times to play games anymore there. Okay, but you guys basically play games more than me there, okay? I believe that you guys can visualize more better than me. Okay, I'm design basically the line of actions just now, okay, for those works as a guide, so I can design those kind of tails there, as suggestions there. So combination between an eagles, because she's basically a female creature there, right? I'm using very simple kind of shapes there, guys, okay, to work with this kind of design. To make it a bit interesting. Okay. All the elements that I actually try to produce will give a bit more enhancements on our design there. All right, on our design there. Right? So that's the things there, guys. Okay. So to become creative there, okay, you need to combine your kind of knowledge experience when you actually have when you had while you play games. Okay. This is the wing, right? Okay. So I can combine these two together there first. Okay. Let's try to do the tail. Now, guys, I'm going to add some sort of like base colors over here there first. Okay, I'm using different layers there. Okay. I can use lasso tool if I want to there, guys, okay, to work on that. I just want to show you guys, okay, to paint, okay, to show basically the form itself, okay, to make it, to look whether the whole structures are going to be formed together there, okay. Sometimes when we want to shade that, right, okay, when we want to put some colors on it, right, okay, we want to put some sort of shadings there, okay, or form of it. It doesn't have to be the whole thing has to be designed properly or paint properly there first. This is a suggestions kind of elements that we actually, a tactic that we can use to gather some informations more, to make sure that the elements that we designed just now will have that kind of connections that, okay, with the characters itself, right? It doesn't look quite out of proportions, all right? And they give more kind of different kind of sense of emotion and feeling there, okay, when we saw basically those designs itself, right? I didn't actually color the whole thing in details there. Just want to show you basically, okay, whether this design are going to be fit or not, okay. They become sloppy a little bit, right, okay, but this is a process of development there. This is only a process of development there, guys, a part of it, okay. When you present your developments like this, it doesn't mean that you lazy there, right, okay, but you want to see whether it's fit or not with those presentations, with the whole kind of design or not there, okay. Those are the things that we want to apply there, okay. And of course, by looking at this kind of reference here, okay, I can actually do more. I will do more, okay, from those wings there, okay, and the tails there, okay, at the time, okay. But this is basically how actually it works for some of the things that for my kind of what we call the visual developments over here. Okay, if I do some selections like this, I want to create basically those shadows there. The shadows can fall off to the side, and most of it to the side there, okay. And of course to the side again, and also some reflection shadows are going to be upon these areas there. So what I can do, I'm using those alternate selections, alternate there. So what I can do right here, okay, I'm going to add some sort of like shadows areas a bit right here. Using those, I'm going to do some extended kind of selections. Because this shadow that I create right now there, guys, I actually just simply, for example, to what we call it, show those kind of form itself there, right? Okay, that's why I say, okay, it doesn't have to be too dark on our presentation the whole time, okay. We have to show some of the form of it. Otherwise, all the major detail that we try to apply right here. Okay, now the shadows of this tail, I'm going to use some textures kind of elements from the dragon's kind of tails there, right, to apply the shadows there. So what I can do right here, okay, have the selections, right, copy, paste, and multiply and reduce the opacities. See the shadows there. Form the shadows there, right? Of course, it's quite complicated, right? If you don't understand it, right? That's what I say, right? Use reference carefully if you cannot imagine that, right? This is what basically what I try to explain just now, okay? What if I try to show you guys without any reference? Whatever I have in mind, my knowledge, my experience there, I just throw back again to my designer, okay? It's going to be hard for you to understand. That's why whatever that you're going to do, first of all, okay, refer to your reference lah, see? Basically, the shadows directly came from this side, and there's some of the light came from this side. I'm choosing the right reference there, guys. And this side has a light a little bit there, see? Okay? You have to understand, okay? Choose the right kind of reference that can apply the same kind of directions of shadow, also really important. Okay, really important there. So don't just simply choose those references because you like it, but you don't actually know how to fit with your design. That's also quite problem later on. Okay, it will be a lot of challenging for you there, right? See? Even though I duplicate them and I put into what we call that the opposite positions, see? It will fit there, guys. Why? Okay, just now when I draw this side, okay, light came from this side there, okay? You can see the light came from this side, okay? So the light came from this side is not a spotlight there. It's basically the natural kind of lights there, okay? The environment lights, okay, they actually form from the shapes of this form itself, right? And then you can see that the connections there between those kind of shades there, right? See? I'm still applying, but not focusing the whole thing in details there. But it still look logic. So when you start to work with your design, always think the logic at the same times. Whatever imaginations kind of character that you're going to design, okay, the things that can make engaging between humans, audience with your design is all about the logics there. Because we're human beings. We want to make this character look believable there, okay? What you saw right now is look believable if you saw these characters outside there, the creatures outside there, right? Because why there's a logic there that I put inside this design. Fantasies came from logic there, guys. They always have the logic there, right? So you have to remember that. Okay? So that's how you learn light and shadows there. That's why you learn how to draw human in a real human kind of environments there, right? Characters there, okay, first. Don't just simply design your characters without having all this kind of logics all the time there, okay? If you say again, oh, why we have the logic there, okay? Because if you take a look at any kind of movies there, okay? Star Wars, for example, there, or Harry Potter's there, okay? Or any kind of games there, right? They always apply the logical elements in those fantasy environment. They look believable that those things look alive there. Okay? What are things that you people cannot actually understand, right? What are the things that people don't understand that you cannot find logic there, okay, in your works? This is my example there. If you want to define non-logical kind of elements, let's see, where is it? Right? This is one of my design there, right? Okay. Where is it? It's this one there, right? Okay, this one there. This is one of my design there, okay? My personal kind of design there. Is it logic? No. Is it abstract? No. But people say abstract, okay? Because there's a subject matters inside. There's an element inside there, okay? But can you understand them? Of course you know, because this is not the direct translations on design itself. There is no logic on these visuals there. But it shows basically some emotions on those design at the same time. All right? There's a few number kind of message that I use using typography and words and visuals there. But if people doesn't actually get into those design, they won't be able to understand them, right? People doesn't really understand it. People won't be able to understand it. You don't understand it, right? Can you interpret them? Okay? Anyone can interpret this kind of visuals there. All right, over 80 to 90% of people won't be able to interpret them, right? Okay, but those who actually study more better on those aesthetical kind of art appreciations, yes, they will explain. Because I've seen and actually met some of my friends, some people basically can interpret this kind of design on my own design again. When I actually design them, I have that kind of what we call a certain kind of message that I want to tell to the audience there, right? But I didn't tell people there. But there's a few number kind of people that I met who came from that studies there, right? That art appreciation studies there. They can actually explain back again my emotions, my message, okay, whatever that I felt when I designed this work there, okay, one of my works there, okay, one of my works there. But that's what I said, okay. This one that I produced is a fantasy design, but there's a logic inside this design there to making those designs look appealing, look balanced, look harmonized with the presentations. Okay, so remember guys, okay, it always has a logic inside your works. Okay, they always have that. Okay, try to relate them. That you will become more better in creative kind of elements on site, right? And develop those creativities from there. Right, there's a lot of things there, guys. You guys can actually experiments beyond whatever that you work right now. Your journeys are going to be interesting there. So develop slowly but progressively. Okay, anyone want to share screen? Anyone want to share some of the ideas there? Anyone?
Yeah, sir, can I share?
Good.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound there, right? Yes.
You song.
Yeah, you sound there, right?
Can
I
I
can
share?
hear you. Right. Yeah, can there, right?
Yeah, can you see?
I'll see your drawing. Yes, you can see here. Okay. Oh, this one there, right? Okay, whatever you're going to do right now, you saw there. Okay. Okay, the subject matters you find quite interesting over here, right? You can redesign a bit more on those costumes there, right? First thing, the line work that you produce. Okay, I think the clouds basically, okay, the clouds. Okay. Okay, one of the way to design clouds there, right? Okay, to draw clouds there. Okay, I will show you guys, okay, how it works here. And the line works of those, every single drawing has to be synchronized there, right? Okay. Okay, from your design that I saw, basically it's quite balanced there. Okay, it's quite balanced there, right? Okay, but the thing that you have to improve your song, basically your design, your line works there. Okay, has to be synchronized there, right? It has to be in the same kind of group or family, a quality of line there. Okay, but this is basically the first draft, is it? The first draft, is it?
Yeah, the first draft, yes.
Yeah. The draft there, right? Okay, good. The clouds have to draw a little bit more softer there, okay, so don't trace those kind of draft like, because if you trace like that, if you draw like that, it looks like his characters is standing in on top of the tree. All right. The line will look like you draw a tree rather than those clouds there. All right. Cloud has to be a little bit more softer, right? Okay, smooth there, right? Okay, those lines, very light, smooth kind of line there.
Okay, smooth line. Okay.
I will show you guys how I actually draw those clouds there. Right? Okay. Anything else there? Try to draw on those wardrobe there, okay? she's wearing a spandex, okay? Try to draw some sort of like element of belts there, maybe, right? Okay. There's a lot of what we call that women kind of what we call that warriors kind of spandex that you can design, okay, a bit more better than this one, okay. Try not to design, because like this kind of spandex, okay, it's look more like a very fragile, okay, for this kind of characters here. Okay, you can redesign them later on.
Okay.
So far so good. Can you zoom in a little bit, right? Zoom in a little bit, right? Close up there, right? The faces. What is this there? Dragon? Lizard?
Dragon head, yeah.
Where basically the eye, okay? Where you get this reference from? Where do you get this reference from?
This one. From Do Printers.
Okay, okay. Okay. This is from 3D Element, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Try to design and draw back again more accurate, right? Okay? And you can actually exaggerate a little bit there, right? How to exaggerate them? You can use Liquify if you want to. Okay, you can use Liquify. Okay, the hairline, also the hair strokes, if you want to apply, you can improvise them back later on, right?
Okay.
Even though basically the body itself, okay, you can actually extend a little bit there, okay, to make it she's look a bit more like a warrior kind of, or a bit more like creatures there, okay, rather than those human there, right? Okay. But this one is the human body there.
Okay.
It still look like a human body there, right? Okay. So for me there, okay. Can I actually share my screen? Anything you want to share more, right?
Oh, no.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. Let's just say that I have a few number kind of reference over here. Okay, let's just say I have this kind of reference over here, right? So what I can do there, right? Just instead of just drawing them back again, I'm going to use my Liquify, okay, right here, because I want to show this women has a muscular kind of body, right? So I'm going to extend using this forward wrap tools. Not too much, right? You have to be careful with it. Extend a little bit. See? Because if you cannot imagine your subject matters there, okay, what you can do, you can use Liquify to develop a bit more on your kind of ideas there, right? Okay? But of course, okay, you need to understand also how to apply the right kind of structures and anatomies at the same time over here, right? See? And I'm going to extend a bit more on the fingers because I want to make these characters a little bit more like, okay, there. Okay, the body itself, okay, because maybe she's going to be the creatures. So I'm going to expand a little bit there, okay, from here. What we call that, the legs also there, right? But not too much there, okay? It has to be logic there, okay? Even though I expand them there, guys, they still look logic there, okay? The muscles there, okay? They actually expand over here. That's what I say, you have to study and refer those references when you design them. Just not like just we having fun with it directly, but we try to make a logical kind of approach on our design there, right? See? She a little bit more warriors kind of looks there, right? Shoulders a bit more, right? Because we don't draw basically back again to those. We not basically are going to be use his face there, her face there, right? because I want to make these women, okay, these characters, these subject matters, become a little bit more masculine, right? Maybe the legs a bit more longer there, right? Because of non-human kind of shapes there. So this is why I say be smart, like work smart on it. You click OK, and then let's just say I'm going to connect it with later on maybe a wolf there, right? Copy this one, paste right here. Okay, the light came from this side, so I have to readjust them later on. Okay, I have to change the positions there. Okay, there, right? Okay, I see a bit more better, right? So find the right kind of positions also really important, say guys. And I don't want to make these characters look like just put a head inside there, right? Okay. What I can do later on, when I actually have been expand them, right? Like this, okay. Reduce opacities. In the best way, I'm going to gradient map there, right? Okay. So when I actually going to draw them back, of course, there, right? I'm going to this part basically, okay. What are the things that look interesting over here? When I actually liquefy them, try to liquefy them, right? What I can do is I can actually expand a little bit right here. Okay. If things are going to be right. Okay, click OK. It feels right. So what I can do, it's time for me to redraw the right. So this part basically I don't left basically right here. So what I can do, I will expand the right. Okay? This is a part of those creativities, guys. And also we play by logic at the same time to make it basically those design look a little bit more kind of into those kind of families there. That's what I say there, guys. Okay, it's not all about tracing them there, right? Okay. Even though the nose basically later on, if I want to draw, I can actually write, expand a little bit. Okay, rough kind of sketch over here. Okay, this one there, right? What if I want to draw basically those? There's a hairline over here. Okay, the mohawk kind of shapes there, right? Can be. Now, oops. If I want to expand a bit, right? Okay, She has basically a more, what we call that, warriors kind of shapes itself. So don't think about, okay, oh, I don't want to have this women have those fur, okay. She's basically a creature there, guys, okay. What the hell that you are going to work, okay? Going to date these women there? No, they're right. I'm not going to date these women there, right? So if, logically, yes, okay, we're not really going to, what we call that, date these women there. But right now, we design the creatures. Okay, we design the creatures there. Okay, what the hell that we're going to date them, right? Okay, maybe some werewolf will basically kind of what we call that male there, okay? Alpha kind of werewolf male there, okay? I'm going to date her there, okay? But not us there. I don't know about Nathaniel there, okay? Whether he's have those hearts for this kind of women, I don't know there, okay? This kind of creatures there, okay? Nathaniel's. All right. But sometimes people say, okay, oh, they want to make it, okay, this one is a bit more naturally appealing there, okay? I don't want to change because I saw basically some of you guys try to draw some Korean kind of characters there, okay? I don't know there, guys, okay? And you don't want to make a certain kind of major kind of changes there, okay? Because you're afraid you have lost basically the faces of those celebrities there. Come on, guys. For me there, okay, those celebrities doesn't basically pay me any kind of commissions, okay, to do their work, okay. So that's why, okay, if you saw me, okay, I didn't actually draw all these kind of celebrity kind of people, okay, unless they're going to pay me there, right? Okay. Even though some among of my friends who has a celebrities kind of what we call that positions, okay, if you don't pay me, okay, correctly, right, okay, I didn't actually going to draw them there. Right? I will design a few number of those what we call that suggestions there, but I didn't actually going to entertain them, okay, unless they're going to be what we call that. For me, okay, this one, okay, the legs can be used different kind of legs there, right? Because she's basically, okay, a wolf, right? A warriors of wolf there, right? So I'm going to use basically a different kind of approach there, okay, on the legs there, okay. That's what I said, okay, this all these kind of things what came from experience there. Okay, so I will draw different kind of legs there, right, to make it more logic there, right? So she's wearing basically those basically the what we call that, those knee guard there, right? Okay. So this part basically, right, I try to make it a bit more like, okay, let's just say that I want to draw, okay, she's wearing basically this kind of part, right? Okay, this kind of type of okay, now I can draw basically her knee, what we call it, her legs there, right? The thigh there, right? Okay, correctly. And of course, right, I'm going to draw basically some sort of like a fur line over here. This basically her basically belt there, right? Okay, or belly kind of belts there. Just redesign, okay, just design that first. Okay, roughly there, right? Guys, can you guys see that, right? Logically, right, okay, we reduce that. It doesn't look like I'm wearing a mask, right, okay, of those wolves there. And I can even draw basically those tails there, right, okay. See? Logically, that we have that, right? There. You want to draw her six packs? Yes, you can. This one, what we call that, those weapon there, right? Okay, yes. Find different weapons there. Let's just say that I'm going to use this X. Copy, paste. All right, this one there, right? I know basically it's not properly been done here, there, right? Okay. Maybe I can, because the position is not right, okay? The X doesn't have to be applied on this side, okay? But for the timing, we can use them. But I can actually use also transform in perspective there. Can we use perspective? Okay. Perspective, okay, is good to show basically those, the fortuning of those kind of designer, okay, those kind of positions there. It doesn't look right, okay. For me, it doesn't look right there. I can use that first. If I'm going to be flip horizontals like this, a bit more safer to her, right? All this kind of logic, guys, okay, that we actually apply, they're going to be affected our presentations. That's why we have to be careful when you draw them. So right now, I have that kind of, okay, with 11 group 2. I can do right here. To draw basically, right, those design. I'm going to redesign a little bit there, right? So this part should be okay. There. So I'm going to use basically some sort of like improvisations, right, on those design itself. Yeah. It doesn't have to be the whole thing are going to be the same there. Yeah. Now it fits there, right? Okay, with those design. Okay. So take a look there, guys. Okay. How many percentage, okay, that I actually have done to make the whole design look different there. So let me take a look over here by adjust the canvas, going to be used 10 by 8. This is the original, this is the visuals that we applied just now. Okay, you guys can see basically those difference there. Okay, from original just now with our creations there, okay? So this is a part of it, I guess, creativities that apply using technologies there to help you to gain more understanding, hopefully to develop your kind of skills. All right. So you saw basically how actually I designed these characters, expand them, right? I can do also this one more and more directly if I want to. Okay. So that's why don't feel satisfied with one kind of styles that you work. Okay, one kind of position or one kind of approach there. Expand more, explore more, okay? Experiment more there, okay? That's the things there. That's the tricks that you works. I can add more and more and more from there, right? In my time, basically, right, I relying too much on my imagination. Sometimes those imaginations have that kind of limitations all the time there. So now we have those technologies. Technologies help me to expand more on my imagination. Even though there's a few obstacles in different kind of projects that we are going to experience, guys. But I show you guys right now how to execute them, how to what we call that, manage your kind of your kind of presentations over here. Okay, to become more creative in the futures. Yes, of course, we have to rely on reference there. All professionals relying on a lot of reference there, guys. Okay, so we need to practice those kind of process and methods of working before you're going to reinvent any kind of styles of work in the future there, guys. Okay, what else that we can do from here, right? I can design basically those. Okay. Okay. She's basically have those ponytails over here. Okay. Draw the hairline, right? Remember, right? Okay, how to draw those hairline in the correct way. Because I want to show basically this is a female kind of creatures there. Right? What else that we can do from here? I love to draw basically some of those a warrior kind of what we call that, the battle scars over here. Right. Draw slowly there, okay, carefully there, okay, on those design at the same time there. Okay. Take a look here, right? How actually we're going to develop more and more, right? Okay? Kind of expand on our ideas at the same times. This is basically a rough kind of guide there, okay, to expand more later on. So that's why enjoying process of learning there, okay, learning to process all this information. Okay. All right, any questions there? Any kind of inquiries, please let me know and update in my WhatsApp group there. Okay. So hopefully you guys enjoy and understand and develop that kind of understanding from here. How to expand more. It doesn't have to draw the whole warriors, okay? We can draw other things there. But I choose basically Beast Within kind of titles when I apply the concept of warrior, because this is basically my personal kind of what we call that directions that I want to show. Basically that we can do a lot of interesting thing in our works there, okay? One of the most interesting thing that I find quite very memorable and also quite very interests me, okay, since I was young there, okay, is basically to play all these adventure kind of games, right? I love to play those kind of games, okay, those adventures kind of games there, okay. So I bring back basically all those kind of memory together with these kind of projects, okay. How actually I visualize them. Those are the things that you guys, maybe you have that kind of feminine kind of what we call that memories of geisha, Korean kind of what we call it things, right? Okay? It gives basically your kind of what we call that kind of interest to do those works there, right? But it doesn't mean that we have to portray those kind of celebrities in our works there, okay? For me there, okay? Because it doesn't actually have any kind of what we call that importance kind of elements that can grow yourself as a designer there. Okay, because you fascinate with those kind of celebrities, okay, you want to draw their face there, okay. I love all these kind of celebrities, some of the Korean kind of women, ladies, right? I watch with my kids Japanese, Korean kind of drama movie because of those actresses there, right? But it doesn't mean that I want to draw them there. Okay, simple as that. Okay, I watch Running Man because I love to see some of those actresses there, okay, celebrities there, okay. ladies there, okay, women there, okay, who actually quite give me basically those eye candy kind of what we call that interactions or relations there, right, okay, to watch them. But it doesn't mean that I would like to draw them there, right, okay, those are the things there, because there's no point there, okay, unless actually I can meet them and make them become my girlfriends, okay lah, right, okay, you don't, okay, why bother there, okay, but it's good to have that kind of attentions of influence or inspirations there, but don't let that kind of inspirations influence you guys to hold your creativity, okay? You can grow beyond that if you want to. Okay? You can go beyond that, right? Okay? Don't let that kind of celebrities will basically overshadow your kind of creative kind of process. Understand what I mean there? Because you are better than them, right? They're nothing there, okay? There's only influence here, right? So there's no point, okay? It's rather to follow an artist, a real kind of visual artist, right? Okay? Illustrators, for me, they're okay, rather than follow those celebrities there. Even though they are my good friend there, okay? Some of them basically my good friend there, okay? In Malaysia, not Korean, right? Okay? But I did not basically follow them, the whole thing, right? Some of them who doesn't actually respond to me, I did not follow them there, right? Simple as that. All right? So we need to have our own kind of stance from here, because we are visual artists, right? Okay? Let people basically go into inspired by us directly, and we can inspire by other people. We can support them, okay? And we have to have that kind of standard way to hold ourselves there. All right, those are the things there. Be humble at the same time. We basically know our directions, how actually we're going to do and portray ourselves, okay, as a designers and artists, okay, and illustrators at the same time. All right. So thank you very much, guys. If you don't have any questions, all right, girl poses that I tried to find guys poses also, but none were good enough. Okay, you can expand it, right? Okay. One of the reason I actually write just to design a few women, okay, because it's part of the practice there. I draw men a lot. I try to draw women more there, okay, to give me more kind of what we call that improvement on my kind of understanding there, okay, to draw different kind of genders there, okay. Those are the things there, okay. So we explore there, right, okay, explore experiments. By the same time, we try to gain those values on our skills there. Okay, all right, guys, thank you very much. I see you guys later on there. Okay, for the next sessions, good luck and have a good kind of time there, okay, to explore. Good luck, and don't forget to submit in our Monday kind of in our Sunday kind of we call the submissions there. Okay, good luck and all the best. Okay, bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome there, guys.